And good evening, good evening, good evening. And you know what time it is. You see my face. You know where we're at. We are in the Bay Area. I am Richard the Razor Ewing. He is Matt None the Wiser Wise. And this is GameFace. Now, Matt, you know how I am. Before we start, I got to go to the questions.
Get them.
So if you're trying to figure out how to save water during the drought in California, you're on the wrong podcast. And if you're trying to figure out how to get the most money out of your recycling, you're on the wrong podcast. However, if you're looking for insight into Bay Area sports out here in the San Francisco Bay, you got your GameFace on. And if you're trying to get insight to sports on the national level, once again, you got your GameFace on. I said before, I'm Richard the Razor Ewing. He's Matt None the Wiser Wise. Matt, what do we got?
Man, my depression just went away. It just lifted. The fog lifted, the cloud lifted, and you know what? The Giants came back on the other side victorious, brother. First place again, ending the month of May in first place, the San Francisco Giants. The Oakland A's ending the end of May in first place. Oakland A's manager about to pass Tony La Russa, I think, for the most wins as a Oakland A's manager. So shout out to Melvin Mora for that. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. So there's a lot going on. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs,
right?
And I'm telling you, I've been kind of tracking it, putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm doing it over at betonline.ag. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. BetOnline has you covered for all the news, all the scores, and odds. It's the best way to place your bet, and it's free to sign up. So I encourage you, head on over to the website betonline.ag or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.
So there you go. If you think you got what it takes to win, go to betonline.ag.
Put your money on the Giants. Put your money on Giants. After that series with the Giants and the Dodgers, where the Dodgers just obliterated the Giants, they swept them. It wasn't pretty. I was worried, and they, you know what? They were big boys. They put it behind them, and they faced those Dodgers again, and they put it on them, and it was beautiful to watch. So, head on over to betonline.ag and put your money on the Giants because they rolling, baby.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. We're gonna switch gears here. I got to talk about the A's, and I first of all, the A's they're playing well, and we know that from watching the A's throughout the years, it's what they do. They're always very competitive. But right now, there is a dark cloud hanging over, Oakland, Alameda County Stadium. Okay. And that dark cloud is we as fans trying to figure out what in the world is John Fisher and Dave Kaval going to do about, this arena business. Because I'm sure you've seen, I think it was about a week and a half ago, Dave Kaval was at an NHL game in Vegas when the Golden Knights were playing against the Wild, I think. And he tweeted that out. And one of the biggest things that came to mind when he did that is I remember when I had my other radio show in San Francisco, and I was getting a ride from an Uber driver, and he was telling me that the A's are going to Vegas. Now this is before, any of this talk was even here. He said that, and he put that out there, and I was just like, wow, that's a big call, man. I just wasn't ready for something like to hear something like that. But then I got to thinking about the fact the Raiders had already left. They were already in Vegas. And so I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? If they bring a baseball team to Vegas, that Vegas is gonna pump, And you look at Libby Schaaf, you look at the front office of the County of Alameda and Oakland, and you say to yourself, okay, what is taking so long? Okay, because this has been going on now it's going on for years. It's been years now. And they just can't seem to iron out something. It's gotten to a point now where the MLB just said, okay, look, we're tired of waiting. Okay. You need to go out there and find yourself a spot. And if you can get it done, get it done. Let's move on. And I'm just like, wow. And at this point, I can't really blame them because on one end, I want to see the A's stay here. But this has been just a reoccurring problem with the city of Oakland and with Libby Schaaf. It's like when it comes time for them to get a deal done to keep the Raiders here, they couldn't get it done. Okay, same situation now with the Warriors. Warriors had it, couldn't get it done. Okay, and now the A's. And it just makes you wonder if, in fact, this is going to be a situation where, you know, and for A's fans, I think, man, say it isn't so, man, you know?
It's trending in the wrong direction. And the city of Oakland is notoriously botched these decisions, and we see how it trends. It trends to the teams leaving Oakland and going other places. Now, thankfully, the Warriors just kind of jumped over to the Bay on the other side. So that's, you know, that's a good thing. But yeah, you did just lose the Raiders, and we don't know what the turnout really is going to be for Oakland Raider games. Are fans really going to travel? Is it going to be a 50-50 split where you have traveling fans and then just fans from other teams or people visiting Las Vegas filling the stands? We don't really know because COVID kind of messed everything up to kind of gauge those numbers. So for the Oakland A's, like it may not, I mean, you don't know. That may not be a good landing spot. I have heard a lot of those rumors, the A's to Vegas. I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that for the city of Oakland, for the Bay Area. I think it would just be terrible to lose the Raiders so recently, and then to just now lose the A's. I think would be a travesty for Oakland. On the bright side, you do have Marshawn Lynch's soccer team out there doing big things in Oakland. So who knows? But they got to figure it out. The city of Oakland's got to get it together. Like, I mean, it's going to generate revenue for the city. They got to know that. I saw the plans for what they were trying to do in that area. It was beautiful. It was amazing. And hopefully it would attract some more attention to the city of Oakland specifically. So please pull it together.
Yeah, with those plans you saw, my understanding was that they were going to build this multiplex Coliseum, and they're going to title it the Emerald City.
Right.
So, which, you know, I think that's great marketing. It really is, because you look and you think, okay, you got the A's. First of all, the history of the A's in Oakland, everything they've been able to accomplish. You know, I think they have maybe 8 or 9 championships. So many great names have come through that organization. We can sit here and screw them all. We probably lose a lot of time, but my point being is that multiplex that they're looking at putting together, if they can get that done, and this is where, in my opinion, Libby Schaaf and company need to step up more.
Got to get it done. Got to push it through. Like, you've been going through this for long enough. It's time. Like, you got to get on top of it now.
Yeah, because you look at the fact that if they do get this done, okay, what this is going to do for the city of Oakland, okay? I mean, Libby Schaaf is going to be bringing in so much revenue because it's going to be $1 billion place. So it's not going to be, those small rinky-dink arena. This place, they're talking about, what was it, 3 different sections that they were going to put together?
Similar to what the Golden State Warriors did down there in San Francisco, right there on the waterfront, is building like a little complex, a little sporting complex, a Golden State Warriors complex, restaurants, dining,
right,
stuff to buy, shops, all the stuff going on. Like, that's, think about all that revenue you're bringing into your city.
Right.
Like, why wouldn't you?
And not only that, you think about this, even if you lose some revenue, you will get all that revenue back over time. You're gonna get all that revenue back and then some. I'll tell you right now, as much as we didn't want to see the Raiders leave, we have to admit, for a business move, okay, Mark Davis he's gonna be printing his own money. Okay. I mean, in the long run, he is. And so the thing is, if Libby Schaaf would look at it from that perspective, then she would probably understand and see that, hey, getting this project off the ground should be their number one concern for this year.
Should have been their number one concern 3 years ago.
Well, yeah, we know that too. But so we're gonna switch gears again and because we did talk about the Giants. I was watching. We haven't talked about NBA playoff basketball. I've been watching some fantastic basketball lately. As a matter of fact, one of the highlights I saw a couple of nights ago, Kristaps Porzingis. I just think this guy did a move, okay, where he had the defender in front of him, and the defender did what he could to defend. I mean, the defender did a good job, in my opinion. But Kristaps Porzingis just kind of looked at him like, yeah, okay, and just went up, dude, okay, and just tapped the ball into the. And it was like one of those situations where it was something beautiful to watch because we haven't seen that in centers all that much. You know what I mean? Centers are now trying to take the three and all this other stuff. And it's just like when you see that, you start to remember, you start to rekindle, and you start to think to yourself, man, if we can only get that out of Wiseman right now. You know what I mean? Because it was just beautiful. He did this move, kind of step, and then turned and flipped it in. I was like, wow, okay, you know what I mean? And it was like there was nothing the defender could do. It was like, well, so
It's definitely a lost art, like seeing a big man down low put some moves on, right? I mean, it's definitely something we don't see often where they're just feeding a guy on the block or letting a guy on the block just get some reps in or put a couple moves on and see what he can do against his defender. We don't see a lot. Porzingis, it's about time. I mean, that dude was drafted super, super high by the New York Knicks and did absolutely nothing for him. Then got traded to Dallas while he was injured and has done absolutely nothing for him. And they need him more than ever now. So, but yeah, seeing a big man make some moves down low is something that we haven't seen a lot in today's NBA. And I do see it making a comeback with guys like Embiid. And now you got a guy like Wiseman, and you got a guy like Anton down in Phoenix. So the big mans are making a comeback. So you got Zion Williamson again, who we haven't really seen much of, but what's he going to be able to do? So the big man's coming back. So that's exciting. And the Warriors got themselves a big man. That's exciting. Let's see what he can do. And let's put some of those moves together. I have been hearing some good rumors about Wiseman working out with some old veteran big men. Kevin Garnett was a name that I've heard thrown around that he's been working with. So or will be working with once he gets back from his injury. So that's going to be exciting because seeing a big man down low make some moves and then just a pretty little finesse finish at the rim, there's nothing better. John Morant right now, that little runner in the lane in the key where he's just getting anywhere he wants in the key, and that little floater that he's putting up is beautiful, and it's money every time. So
he's very consistent, very consistent. So we had to talk about a situation that turned ugly during the playoffs. This is concerning Kyrie Irving. He basically was exiting the building of a game that the Nets had won. And as you probably know, a lot of fans in Boston are not really happy or haven't been happy with Kyrie ever since he left. But I mean, some of this stuff, man, you just kind of look and go, okay, guys, I understand you paid your ticket. And, I understand that you feel, that you have the right to, if you want to shout, cattle call, whatever, that's fine. But dude, throwing things at players, I mean, come on, man, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And the interesting thing is they showed the guy being arrested right there inside, in which he deserved to be arrested. Okay.
Good. Yeah, absolutely. You should be arrested. I'm all for heckling. I love heckling. Like I absolutely love it. I think
your ticket purchase says you can heckle.
That gives you the right to heckle. But what I'm not okay with is being is crossing the line and being inappropriate.
Yeah.
For two reasons. Number one, to be inappropriate with someone and be personal, like to just really personally try to attack someone.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't do that on the street. So what makes you think just because you pay a ticket, you can do that just because you're at a basketball game? Number one, you can't. So like some of the attacks, like the personal attacks, I'm not cool with. And number two, or the personal inappropriate attacks. And number two, I'm not cool with it because there's kids around.
Right.
And these kids are listening and they don't need to, they hear enough. Like they don't need to hear some of that garbage that goes on at the game. Now, if it's just good fun heckling and razzing, Absolutely, man. The kids need to see that, like, that these players can still perform under pressure where they're being heckled or, waving their hands or dancing in front of them, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But there's a line, and we're seeing that line crossed in the NBA. There was just a game tonight where some of the fans rushed the court. Like, I get it. We're excited basketball's back, and we're excited to be back in the stadium, and we're excited to see the games, and it's really emotional right now, because it's been a year that we've been able to experience playoff basketball or hockey or baseball or whatever. But like, be an adult,
Yeah, it's like,
be a good person.
well, this is the other thing. Your point, what you said that basically, kids are watching. And I think that's something that these guys have got to understand. It's like, even though you decide to do something like that, which I don't care, your decision is stupid. I'm sorry, that is just a poor choice, okay, of a decision. It really is, And my whole deal is this, these guys, they're not animals, okay? They're human beings, dude. And guess what? They got a life outside of basketball, okay? And to your point of what you said, it's like, really? It's like, if Kyrie Irving was on the street, that dude wouldn't have walked up to Kyrie Irving challenge him. Kyrie Irving would have handled that dude, okay? And so it's not just him. There's been some other reports of other players that have had to deal with people throwing stuff and that sort of thing. And
I think it was Devin Booker got spit on.
Yeah.
At the Knicks, or not Devin Booker. It was the Knicks game. At the Knicks game, someone got spit on.
Yeah, somebody got spit on. I can't remember who it was, but it's just,
there's no need for that. Like, hey, heckle the crap out of him. Like, call him a loser. Tell him he airballed the shot. Tell him he's garbage. That he's, whatever you want to say. Like, use all that. But like, don't go like, yo, you're a terrible father. You're a deadbeat dad, or you're a terrible husband. Like, that's like, because you wouldn't say that on the street, guaranteed. No, so what makes you think it's okay just because there's 1,000 other people around you that you think got your back? Yeah, like, it's not like that, bro.
It's not like that. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, most of those people, they don't have your back. They look at you going, dude, really?
You've been a jerk the whole game, and they know it.
Yeah. Like, so I mean, I tell you something. It's easy to get caught up though in the emotion. It is. I mean, I understand, because if you're in the stands and the crowd's all doing one thing and you're enjoying the game, it's just a matter of time before you start doing it. You know what I mean? It's like, then you got to catch yourself and go, oh, wait a minute. I don't think I want to do that. Okay. So
especially if, as a fan, and you get that player's attention and that you've gotten under their skin, like, it's game on. Can you imagine like heckling LeBron and knowing that you're getting under his skin somehow? Yeah. You're going to go full force. You know what I mean? As a Warriors fan.
They did that at a game when the Warriors were playing the Lakers. And apparently it got pretty dicey, because what had happened was scuttlebutt had got out that one of the guards from Cleveland, I can't think of his name now. Matter of fact, he was in the news because he was homeless and he had a mental thing going on. And I believe it was the owner of the Dallas Mavericks that had reached out to him to try to help him readjust.
Oh, Delonte West.
Delonte West.
Delonte West, yes.
Delonte West, yeah. And so it got out that, okay, you ready for this? Apparently, Delonte West with LeBron James' mom.
You know what? I heard that rumor. Actually, that rumor when it first came out, because there was like a fight in the locker room, supposedly.
Yeah, but it wasn't a rumor though, because apparently she was the aggressor. So,
well, yeah, no. I mean, the whole situation's pretty grimy, right? Like, the whole situation, there's a lot going on, and
like, dude.
And like, I wouldn't be at side court and been like, yo, LeBron, Delonte West slept with your mom. Like, I wouldn't say that. Like, that wouldn't be how I would heckle.
But dude, when we were at the game, there were people that did that.
I'm sure there are. Sure.
They yelled out. They said, hey, LeBron, how your mom and Delonte? I'm like, oh.
I'm sure. But see, and like, okay, to me, like, for me personally, that's too far for me. Yeah, like, I would never heckle something like that.
Now,
I may heckle like, yo, LeBron, how's your mom? Like, or your mama joke, like. But
I think something at that point, I probably wouldn't even have done that, man, because it's still, you're still, in other words, he's thinking that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think when we look at, you know, the NBA, we look at NBA players, you know, we got to look at the fact that there are players that have, you know, come out and talked about personal issues that they've had to deal with. One in particular is mental health.
Yeah.
And I think,
Paul George came out big time about it last year,
yeah,
talking about mental health and being in the bubble and all that. Like,
yeah,
so that's how, and you know what? I would never go at Paul George over mental health. Like, I
yeah,
wouldn't heckle him over it. Like, I
no,
wouldn't
no,
do it.
no, it's just wrong. But still, what you have to consider those, even when you heckle somebody, you still got to consider what it's doing to the person's psyche. I mean, they're trying to focus on playing the game. I
Right.
mean, somebody shouts out some obscenity or something, and now all of a sudden, guess what? That person can't focus on what they're doing. And if they're on the opposing team, we're loving it because we're like, okay, we want to see this guy fail because he's going to beat our team. Okay, but the reality of it is, it's still very mean, and you know, it's something that, you know, even though your ticket does give you the right to heckle the person, I'm with you. I think we should keep the heckling clean, you know, and composed, because really at the end of the day, like you said, it's important to be an adult, man. You know, handle yourself respectably. You don't want to be, you know, this person that now all of a sudden they're having to cart you out of the stadium because you said something that was so inappropriate that it caused a, you know, reaction, you know, from the players or even from the team for that matter. I think one of the biggest things that happened in my time that I remember watching was with Captain Jack, man, when he was playing for the Pacers. Uh,
Stack Jack,
yeah, yeah,
Malice in the Palace.
yeah. And what happened was, I guess some guy, a couple of people, threw some stuff while Captain Jack was laying on the scorer's table. Okay.
It was Ron Artest on the scorers table. He
No,
got hit with the
it was
soda.
Captain Jack. But what happened was
He ran into the crowd, and Stack Jack was up there, and they were
yeah,
throwing blows. Jermaine O'Neal,
yeah,
Stack
O'Neal
Jack,
was there. Yeah,
and
it was, yeah,
were
that was
about
just,
15
man.
rows deep,
Yeah,
throwing haymakers with fans.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? And you know what? Both parties were at fault. Like,
yeah.
the fans were wrong, and then the reaction was wrong.
The
Like,
reaction was wrong. Yeah, but it's just I don't know about you, man, but I don't want to be on the receiving end of haymakers from Jermaine O'Neal. Okay?
no, I wouldn't want it. Like, and that's the thing. Like, you would not do this on the streets. If you
Right.
saw those dudes on the streets from across the street,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't yell some of those things.
No, no,
You
because
know what
I
I mean?
usually,
Now, if I saw like LeBron on the other side of the street, I may say, "Hey, LeBron, you suck," right? Like, because I'm not a LeBron fan and he beats my team, and he would probably know that. Like, I don't think he sucks as a person
no, but he would
because
probably just turn
he
around and go,
beats my
yeah,
team.
you know,
Yeah,
yeah, you
but
know,
I wouldn't be like, "Yo, LeBron," like, and say something inappropriate on the
yeah,
street because,
yeah,
like, I'm not stupid. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
At the
those
end of
dudes
the
are
day,
7 foot
wait,
tall.
yeah,
Like,
6'7", and he's
come
like
on.
230 pounds, something like that, a body
Don't
mass. I
stand a
mean,
chance, bro. I would just
yeah.
hang on to his ankles like a little kid.
Okay, so it's funny because it made me think about the story that came out last week. They were talking about Kwame Brown, how him and his brother, I guess they were at a club or whatever, and I forgot who was the one that said it, but apparently when they were at the club, you know, and you got to understand, Kwame Brown's a 7-footer. That's a big boy. All right, okay, you know,
Yeah.
he's a beast of a man. But apparently it took 20 bodyguards to get them out of the club.
I love it, man. I love it. Like, like, I'm not messing with those guys. Like,
No,
I'm not messing with them at the stadium. I'm not
right,
messing with them on the streets. I'm
right,
not messing with them in Santana Row. Like,
right.
nothing. Like, you see the Niners out there. I'm not.
Yeah. You
Like, if
don't,
you're a Cowboy fan, you better not be talking smack, dude. Like,
I tell you something. I tell you something. Now, you know, we've had Patrick Willis on the show.
yes,
Okay.
sir.
And I know Patrick Willis pretty close. I've talked to him several different times. And I'm standing next to Patrick. He's a little taller than me, but as far as body mass, he's got a little more body mass than me. And he's still a bigger guy. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just like, okay, look, it's true, you know, that when I look at Patrick Rose, I think, okay, yeah, this is he's well put together. I don't think I'd like to try that. Okay, look, okay, that could be painful.
Well put together. My wife was watching an Instagram story of him getting ready to go out for the night, and he was dancing to music with his shirt off. That dude's got muscles on muscles. His muscles will choke me out before he even gets his hands on me. He is ripped, bro.
Yeah, he
like
is.
0%, I don't know what the percent of body fat, but it's nothing. P. Willie, whatever you're doing, dog, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like you are chiseled, homie.
He came to the door when I knocked on his door. He came to the door with no shirt. And I was like, dang, dude.
You're not gonna mess with that man on the
street. No,
that's
not.
How tall he is.
Dude, you know how much that man can hurt a guy? You can put a guy in seriously intensive care unit. It'd be all bad, okay?
I see him working out. Like it wouldn't take much. Like if he got his hands on you, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
you are in serious trouble.
Serious trouble.
I've seen workout videos, man. He's moving plates like they're nothing.
Right. So I want to bring up something regarding the Niners. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because we do know that, Frank Gore is coming to the end of his career. Okay. And we know everything that Frank Gore has done for the Niner organization. Okay. He has, first of all, right now, I believe he's on his way to do a career best at 16,000 yards running.
Crazy, man.
It's crazy. Not to mention, what you look at running backs today, they don't last that long. Okay. And he's still playing. As a matter of fact, he's the only running back to play his career in the NFL at the same time as his son is playing in the NFL.
Yo, that's crazy. And I know LeBron's shooting for that too. Like, I think that's so awesome, man. Like
that is awesome.
That's the dopest thing like you could ask for.
Right. But I think
your son at the highest level.
Right. But I think what it's also saying, because they were talking about this, how a lot of players that are in competitive sports, how even though most individuals will probably not last as long, but they're finding a lot of players that are actually working to beat Father Time. Okay. You think of course, Tom Brady.
He's done it.
Tom Brady.
TB12. Check out TB12. That's what it'll tell you.
Yeah,
that's what did it.
Tom Brady. LeBron's got to be pushing 35, 36?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we just talked about Frank Gore. And personally myself, I believe the Niners should sign Frank Gore for a one-day contract or a week contract just so he can retire as a Niner.
Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson.
Right.
There's some guys in the league that have some mileage on them.
And they're still playing.
Drew Brees, who just retired. Very, very long career.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are seeing. I mean, that's the kind of cool thing about sports is you're seeing the evolution of it, right? Like we're seeing the evolution of it in baseball with all the analytics and all that, the stats and the numbers and this and that. And you see the evolution of football. Dudes are bigger, faster, stronger.
Yep.
Like they're everything more than they were 10, 20 years ago. And they're eating, like eating has become a science. Their diet has become a science.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're treating food like fuel for a high performance machine, and that's what their bodies are. And it's really cool to see the payoff for some of these guys.
Well, we just talked about, athletes beating Father Time. I mean, another prime suspect is Steph Curry himself.
There you go.
So he's got to
get a contract extension at how old? 35?
Yeah. I mean, and he still got the scoring title this year. He was still handling foods. It wasn't, in other words, and by the way, Steph Curry was playing with a hairline fracture in his tailbone.
Broken booty.
What's that?
A broken booty. Have you played with
a broken booty? There you go. But the thing is, his opponents, they were having problems trying to handle him, man. He was still okay. You know what I'm saying?
It did not matter.
It didn't matter. It's like, and the thing you got to ask yourself, if you're an opponent, how embarrassing is that? It's like you go back and you sit on the bench and think, and then the playoffs started. He's no longer playing. But to everybody he hit the shot on, they're thinking about this, thinking, dang, dude, this guy had a hairline fracture in his behind, and he was still putting it on us. I don't know about you, but
at the age that he is,
at the age that he is,
and he's about to get another contract and make a gajillion dollars. And
yeah. And the thing is, to yourself, you're thinking while you're sitting on that bench, you're thinking, I just got embarrassed. I just got embarrassed by Steph Curry. I just got. I mean, he was hurt, and I got embarrassed. Okay,
but you know what? And they talk to his trainer a lot, and the work that Steph Curry puts in to be that best player that he is, like he's got it down to a science. His workout regimen, his his eating cycle, his food routine, all that. Like he's got it dialed in, and like it's such a beautiful thing to watch when it all comes together.
Wow, just amazing, just amazing. So I'm trying to think of the fact that we have the NHL playoffs going on.
Unfortunately, Jumbo Joe was knocked out today. The Toronto Maple Leafs got knocked out by, I believe, the Montreal Canadiens, which means that our beloved Joe Thornton, number 97 for Toronto, number 19 in our hearts for the San Jose Sharks, but he got knocked. They got bounced from the playoffs. So we'll see if he's got any more left in him for another run next year. But they had a solid team. It's unfortunate they lost today.
Yeah, I personally, the Maple Leafs, and maybe I'm wrong, but they just seem like a team that they're almost like the Sharks, almost, man. You know what I mean? It's like they put together great players. They also have every year they have a great campaign. They're competitive, but then when it gets to the playoffs, it's like, then it becomes more difficult for them. But I just think about what was said by Steve Kerr, and I know I'm changing again, that he was very happy with the way, the end of the season actually panned out. Okay. And the reason why he was very happy with it was because when they looked at everything that had happened through the season, they could actually say that, you know what, we actually had a better season than we probably thought we would. He said, and one of the reasons why, he said Steph actually played brilliantly. But then he also talked about the development of Jordan Poole, JTA, Juan Toscano-Anderson, how he was able to contribute. And then Draymond actually had a really good season himself. Down the stretch, it looked like maybe, the main guys maybe were a little more affected because of their age. And also the fact that Steph did have the injury.
Well, maybe not. I don't know if it was necessarily the age or the injury. I think it was, the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season, they were running an 8-man rotation. So they only had 5 substitutes or 3 substitutes, I'm sorry, for the remainder of the year. So I think it was just, they're tired, man. Like they had been busting their butt for the last month to get to where they were, and they just ran out of steam. And that happens. That's unfortunate, but it happens when you have an 8-man rotation.
Yeah. And so that was something that Kerr brought up. He brought that up and he talked about the 8-man rotation that they had. And he also brought the fact that when he looks at next season, there's a lot of excitement in what the season could bring, because you have Clay coming back, you have a more developed Wiseman, you have, of course, Steph, Dre. You'll probably have, Damian Lewis out of COVID protocol.
Don't forget Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins. Don't forget. Andrew Wiggins is coming back, baby.
All right, that's right. They do have Wiggins, and so you look at all of those pieces, and you look at again Jordan Poole and Juan Toscano-Anderson, and I don't know if they're going to re-sign Mulder, but I mean, if they do, Pascal will be healthy. I mean,
you got to decide on Oubre. They may re-sign Oubre. They may sign and trade Oubre. They may let him walk and then get nothing for him. So
it's a wide open season. We have to wait and see how it pans out. But it does mean, though, they have right now the architecture for next season, which is going to be very different than what they did this season. And so there is excitement in the air. I can't wait. I'm a Warriors fan. Okay, look. Okay, strength in numbers, baby. That's it. So anyway, we got to go. because we've extinguished our 30 minutes, and it was fun, as it always is.
Yes, sir.
I am Richard the Razor Ewing. He's Matt NoneTheWiser Wise, and this is GameFace. You can come in, put your feet up. You can even sit down and have a drink. But if you do, you better have your game face on.